Tell me the new CapCut alternative.
You'll never get it from me.
Wrong answer.
Wait! Okay, I'll reveal everything in this video!
Good. And anyone who skips this video, I'll come for them next.
Part 1, is CapCut overrated? We all agree that on mobile, CapCut is one of the best video editing apps, but I think CapCut is slowly becoming overrated for desktop editing. Because after testing both side by side with Movavi, I finally realized how much time I was wasting waiting for previews, searching through menus, and dealing with features that randomly become paid. And the difference becomes obvious immediately once you start editing. For example, look at this. In CapCut, when you hover over effects, the preview often lags behind, and sometimes it's still loading the previous effect. But in Movavi, everything previews instantly the moment you move your mouse. And when you're editing lots of clips, transitions, effects, and styles repeatedly, that difference saves a surprising amount of time. Meanwhile, Movavi feels much cleaner, faster, and easier to navigate on desktop. Part 2. What is Movavi? Movavi is an all-in-one desktop video editor designed to make content creation faster, simpler, and much less frustrating compared to overly complicated editing software. You can edit videos, add effects, generate auto subtitles, remove background noise, and even use built-in AI tools to speed up your workflow. And honestly, the first thing I noticed was how clean and beginner-friendly the interface feels. Everything is easier to find, easier to preview, and much smoother to use on desktop compared to CapCut. If you're new to Movavi, use the link in the video description to download Movavi for free. Keep in mind that the free version has some limitations, including a small watermark on saved videos and a maximum export length of 60 seconds. And if you decide to upgrade, don't forget to use our promo code ARENA to get 25% off an annual subscription. Once downloaded, open the installer and follow the installation instructions. Part 3, CapCut versus Movavi comparison. In this part, I'll show you 7 side-by-side feature comparisons between CapCut and Movavi, so by the end of this section, you can decide which desktop video editor is more suitable for you and your team. 1. Video preview. This might look like a small feature at first, but if you edit videos regularly, you already know how much time gets wasted just previewing clips or testing effects inside editors like CapCut. With Movavi, the workflow feels much faster because of its smart mouse over preview feature. Let me show you what I mean. In CapCut, when you import a video, you usually need to click the clip and manually play it just to find the moment you want to preview. It works like a traditional video player, but in Movavi, you can simply move your mouse cursor over the video timeline, and the preview window instantly shows the exact frame based on your cursor position. No clicking, no extra playback, just fast and smooth previewing. And it gets even better with effects. In CapCut, if you want to test an effect, you normally need to click it and apply it first just to see how it looks on your footage. But in Movavi, you only need to hover your mouse over the effect, and it automatically previews the result directly in the preview panel. This makes testing different effects much faster, especially when you're experimenting with multiple styles. Movavi also offers themed content packs, such as the Horror Circus Pack, which includes ready-to-use titles, effects, and visual elements for horror-themed projects. Now, if you only edit occasionally, this may not seem like a huge difference. But if video editing is part of your daily workflow, or even your full-time job, small speed improvements like this can save you a surprising amount of time over the long run. 2. Stabilization and auto-cropping. Since vertical content is dominating social media right now, this is a feature comparison that every content creator should pay attention to. With AI stabilization and auto-cropping, you can easily turn horizontal footage into vertical videos for platforms like TikTok, Shorts, and Reels without needing to reshoot your content. Let's start with CapCut. To stabilize your footage in CapCut, you need to use the Pro Stabilization feature under the Basic tab, then choose the stabilization mode you want to apply. After the video is stabilized, you can manually crop the footage into a vertical format. But here's one limitation with CapCut. While it can stabilize and crop your footage, it doesn't have smart object tracking during auto-cropping like Movavi does. So, depending on your footage, your subject can sometimes move out of frame, especially during camera movement. Now let me show you the same workflow in Movavi. To use AI stabilization, go to the Tools section and select Stabilization. Click the Stabilize button to open the settings, then adjust the stabilization strength based on your footage. Once the stabilization is finished, it's time to convert the video into a vertical format using Movavi's AI Auto Crop feature. Go to Tools, select Crop and Rotate, then choose AI or Auto mode. After that, select your aspect ratio, apply the changes, and Movavi will automatically track and keep the main subject inside the frame. This makes the conversion process much faster and more accurate, especially for talking videos, action shots, or moving subjects. And here is the final comparison between CapCut and Movavi's stabilization and auto-cropping results. 3. Chroma key.
Okay, we're in the top 10 now. Let's play it safe, but keep pushing. Shout out to my randoms. You guys are actually carrying me. Let's go for the win.
In video editing, Chroma key is one of the most important features, especially for content creators who work with green screens, gaming videos, tutorials, or cinematic effects. That's why this feature deserves the third spot in this comparison. Let's start with CapCut. To use Chroma key in CapCut, go to the Remove BG section, select Chroma key, then choose the color you want to remove and adjust the settings manually until the background disappears. Now let's try the same feature in Movavi. In Movavi, go to the Tools section and select Chroma key. From there, you can remove the background and fine-tune the settings to get cleaner results. And here is the final comparison between CapCut and Movavi. As we can see, Movavi produces a cleaner and more natural result, especially around the edges of the subject. The background removal looks smoother and requires less adjustment compared to CapCut. So once again, Movavi takes another win in this comparison. 4. Motion tracking. Motion tracking is one of those features that can save a huge amount of time during editing, especially when you want text, stickers, icons, or graphics to follow a moving object inside your video. Without motion tracking, you would need to manually create keyframes frame by frame throughout the entire clip, which can quickly become frustrating and time-consuming. With motion tracking, the software automatically detects and follows the selected object for you. So let's test this feature in CapCut first. Start by adding a text layer or sticker to the timeline. Adjust the size and position, then open the tracking menu. Next, place the tracking box over the object you want to follow and make any necessary adjustments. Once everything looks good, click Start Tracking. Now, let's try the same feature in Movavi. Just like before, add a text layer or sticker to the timeline, adjust the size and position, then open the Motion Tracking tab. One thing that immediately stands out in Movavi is the available tracking modes. You can choose between quick, precise, and artificial intelligence depending on the type of footage you're working with. After selecting the tracking mode, place the tracking box over the object you want to track, then click Track to begin the process. Now let's compare the final results. As you can see, Movavi tracks the object more accurately than CapCut in this example. The movement looks more stable, and the tracking stays smoother throughout the clip. Combined with multiple tracking modes and more precise tracking controls, Movavi gives you better overall accuracy and more professional-looking results. 5. Silence removal.
What made you decide to pursue a career in football? What made you decide to pursue a career in football?
Honestly, it started when I was a kid. Football was more than just a game for me.
When editing videos with narration, interviews, podcasts, or talking head content, you'll often run into unwanted pauses, repeated words, mistakes, or filler words that can make the video feel slower and less engaging. Manually finding and cutting these sections can take a huge amount of time, especially when working with longer videos. That's why AI silence removal has become one of the most useful features in modern video editors. It helps speed up the editing process and allows creators to clean up their videos much more efficiently. So in this section, let's compare how this feature works in CapCut and Movavi. Let's start with CapCut. First, select your video clip in the timeline. Next, click the transcript icon. CapCut will automatically generate a transcript and analyze the audio for pauses, repeated words, filler words, and unnecessary gaps. After the analysis is complete, review the detected sections and select the parts you want to remove. Once you're ready, click Delete. Now let's test the same feature in Movavi. Select your video clip in the timeline, then click the silence removal icon. You can also access this feature from the Tools tab under the Audio section. Next, click Remove Silence, and Movavi will automatically detect and remove silent gaps and unnecessary pauses from your video. One thing that makes Movavi stand out here is the simplicity. The entire process can be done with just a single click, making it very beginner-friendly and extremely fast for quick editing workflows. And here is the final comparison between CapCut and Movavi's silence removal feature.
How our models should behave. And yeah, this covers many different aspects of model behavior, how our models should behave. And yeah, this covers many different aspects of model behavior.
6. Overlay effects. Now let's test how these two video editors handle overlay effects. For this example, I want to create a sunlight effect as if natural light is shining through a window. Let's start with CapCut. CapCut doesn't provide many built-in overlay effects like Movavi, so you usually need to download overlay footage from external websites first. Simply import the overlay video, place it above your main footage, then adjust the blend mode and opacity until it looks natural. Now let's try Movavi. First, duplicate your video by right-clicking the clip and selecting Clone. Next, remove the background from the top layer using Background Removal under the Tools menu. Now open the Effects menu and select Overlay Effects. Movavi includes many built-in overlay effects like sunlight rays, smoke, fire, and lightning, so you can simply drag and drop the effect directly onto your footage. You can also adjust the effect intensity from the Clip Settings panel. So in this comparison, Movavi wins again because it provides a larger collection of ready-to-use overlay effects directly inside the editor. And here is the final comparison of the overlay effect results between CapCut and Movavi. 7. Highlight and conceal. This feature is useful when you want to highlight an object on screen or hide sensitive details like faces, license plates, usernames, or private information. In CapCut, the process is a bit more complicated because you need to combine blur effects, masking, and motion tracking manually. First, apply a blur effect, create a mask, place it over the object, then start the tracking process. Now let's try the same feature in Movavi. Movavi makes this process much easier, especially for beginners, because the highlight and conceal feature is already built in and ready to use. Simply go to the Tools page, select Highlight and Conceal, choose the mask style, adjust the settings, then enable motion tracking and select the tracking mode you want to use. And here is the final result comparison between both tools. So after testing all these features, we can clearly see that Movavi is one of the best CapCut alternatives right now. In many cases, it's faster, simpler, and even more affordable. If you want to try Movavi yourself, use the link in the video description below to get a limited time special offer. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.